So number 2 from yesterday's notes. Please remember, after you cross multiply, maybe you have something that looks like this, number 2. So you cross multiplied, you did everything you did, and this is what you end up with. That's not what I want. I need something equal to 0 before we start anything. So I need to move the 5x over. How's the 5x get moved over? I'm going to subtract it over. Now, when you rewrite this, first of all, can I combine anything up here on the left with 5x? No. So when I rewrite it, you want to make sure it's in the correct order. The squareds, the x's, just the number. So I'm going to start out with 3x squared, but I'm not going to put minus 1 next. That should go at the end. I'm going to put that minus 5x in the middle, then minus 1 equals 0. Are we all good? Please write it in the correct order. Now that it's equal to 0, you have a decision to make. Do I try to factor, or do I head right to quadratic formula? Now, for us in here, I see a 3 out in front. I'm like, no. We ain't trying to factor that in this class. We're going to go right to quadratic formula. All right? Quadratic formula has 3 variables in it. It's got an a, a b, and a c. Are we able to identify those values up here? What is my a value? 3. My b value. Okay, this is why I need you to write it in order, because if you did it, I'm going to assume most of you would have thought it was -1 because it just came second. Write it in the correct order. Now, what's my c value? -1. So we decide quadratic formula. Again, you never have to memorize it. I will give it to you on next week's quiz. Stay with me. If my b value was -5, what number is going to go in here for -b? Just +5. Are we all right with that? -5 becomes +5. Plus or minus. I didn't do too much of it yesterday. That's why we're doing a second day. I do not want you to try to do it yourself. Do not try to find b squared minus 4ac by yourself. Let your calculator do the work. So let's review again. How do I use my calculator to find that number? What's my a value? 3. Store. Right to the left of 1. In for a. Alpha math. Enter. What's my b value? -5. Go ahead. -5. Store. In for b. And then c value was what? -1. Yep. -1. Store in for c. Everyone's good? Stored them all in. Now I go b. Make sure you square it. I always see some kids forget the squared. b squared minus 4ac, and your little calculator will plug all your numbers in for you. So what should be that number underneath the radical? 37. It's going to be correct every time. So 37 all over 2 times, what was my a value? 3. So what number should be in the denominator, the bottom? A 6. Everyone all right? Now, that's the easy part. Just plugging it all your numbers in. Now I look, and can I break down the square root? 37. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, I gave you guys all those perfect squares yesterday. Is there a perfect square that went into 37? 4, 9, 16, etc. Is there one? Good. If there's not, we're done. There's nothing else to do. If you can't divide, if you can't simplify the radical, you can stop right now. Can't go any further. If there is, which we will get to on the homework, we'll continue on. All right, but I cannot break down the square root of 37. So we are done, everybody. We are done. Anything you want to ask before we get to the third one? There's going to be a lot of practice today. All right, I'm going to let you go ahead and cross multiply.
Can I have your attention, please? At this time, we will now practice our lockdown drill. Thank you for your cooperation.
Just an FYI, if this was the real deal, we'd all be getting over there in that corner, all right, away from the door. So, but this is just a drill, so because of social distancing, we're just going to stay right where we are. All good? All right, but if this was the real deal, I'd have all you guys move over to the wall over there. All right, go ahead, cross multiply. Go ahead, cross multiply. Hopefully we're getting more comfortable with that. Are we getting x squared plus 5x equals -2? All right. You guys know the deal, right? Can't do much here until it's equal to 0. So add the 2 over. Okay, you added the 2 over. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to do this. I'm not going to say do it this way, do it this way. But in an above average class like I have here, I would at least try factoring first before you relied on quadratic formula. So if we're going to factor this, we need two numbers that do what? Multiply to 2, but at the same time add to 5. All right, see if you can do it or not.
No.
Sometimes you can't. Can anybody have two numbers that multiply to 2 and add to 5?
No.
You sure? Or did we just say no because we know what's happening here?
I don't know.
Well, do we? Well, think, guys, let's go. If you have, what are the only two numbers that multiply to 2? 2 and 1. Are you going to get a 5 out of that? No. So this cannot be factored. So you have to rely on what? My quad formula. Yes. All right. I have to rely. There's no other choice. You cannot factor it. But I would at least attempt to factor it with you guys in here. What's your A value? 1. B value. 5. C value. 2. I know people go to the calculator maybe a little too soon here. What's my negative B value? -5 plus or minus. Go ahead, B squared minus 4AC. We should all get the same value. That's what's nice about using the calculator. All right, we all getting the same number. Let's see, what is it? 17? Everyone 17?
Yeah.
Make sure we know how to use the calculator correctly. All right, so 17 over 2 times your A value. What should go on the bottom on this one? Just 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Are we okay? All right, Kate, ready? Whoa, we may or may not be done. Square root of 17. Can we break it down?
No.
There's no perfect square that goes into 17. I don't want decimals. So if you can't break down the radical, you are done.
Okay.
We'll get to one in a minute here where we are going to break down the radical, but if we can't, we're done. All right, we're good there. All right, let's get erasing. Let's get writing correct work. Let's go to the homework. Conveniently, you saw, he just put the answers on. That means I'm going to have to show work to get there. Right, whatever you got, let's go. This is what this whole class is dedicated to. Get better at factoring, get better at quadratic formula before we move on to day 2 tomorrow. Here we go, from the homework. What do we want to look at here? Because all I had was answers. And if you just had your answers, that's not going to fly. Molly, let's go. Number 8, everyone. Let's take a peek at 8. All right, number 8, I got to cross multiply. So the first 2 I see, I'm going to do x minus 7 and multiply that with x plus 2. And that should give me equal to the other side cross multiplying negative 10x. We're okay there. All right, look, I don't know. Like I can slow down at certain points, but right here is not a point I feel comfortable slowing down on and showing you and going over problems on how to do that. Here, x, distribute it. Negative 7, distribute it, distribute it. That's how it's done. Okay, that's how it's done. So when I do that, you should have x squared plus 2x minus 7x minus 14. That's what I get when I double distribute it. Always combine your like terms in the middle. X squared minus 5x minus 14 equals negative 10x. We're all good so far. All right, I've combined everything I can, but I can't do anything until one side is what? Okay, so which side, what do you think I want to move over? The negative 10x or all that stuff on the left? Yes. Remember, keep your x squareds positive. So I end up with x squared, what do I get there? 5x minus 14 equals 0. We're all good. All right, look, if some of you guys are really, really nervous about your factoring ability, you can go right to quadratic formula and do it. But again, in this type of class, I prefer you to check if you can factor or not. All right, what two numbers that do what? Multiply to? Negative 14, but add to 5. That can be done. Unlike the last problem, you can do that. 2 numbers that multiply to negative 14, but add to 5. There's no need for the quadratic formula here. And those numbers should be 7 and 2. But you just have to get the right signs in front. I need to add to what again? Positive 5. So plus 7 minus 2. Factor it if you can. There's no reason why you can't factor it if you can. There you go. X plus 7 equals 0. X minus 2 equals 0. X equals 2. X equals negative 7. Now, if you look, am I going to downgrade you or look at you differently because you use quadratic formula instead? No. Are you still going to get 2 and negative 7 if you use quadratic formula? Yeah, you are. You will. All right? There's nothing wrong with it, but I just think in a class like this, you should be able to factor it. Molly, you're right here? Next up, let's go, Jackson.
Number 9.
Look at 9, everybody. Get rid of all this, get a clean spot. All right, start off again by double distributing. X plus 1 and x minus 2 equals 4x. Everyone good? I'll keep doing this, but it's not going to last long. X first, then distribute the 1 next. So you end up with x squared, minus 2x plus x minus 2 equals 4x. Combine your like terms. What do I get there? Minus x minus 2 equals 4x. Right? Get one side equal to 0. So move that 4x over. X squared minus 5x minus 2 equals 0. Try it. Try it.
I did it, it failed.
Two numbers that multiply to -2, but add 2, -5. Again, same thing, right? What are the only two numbers that multiply to 2? 2 and 1. You're going to get a 5 from those? Absolutely not. So factoring's not going to work. What do I need to rely on? Quadratic formula. That's what I got to rely on. So A, what do you got for my A? 1. B, -5. C, -2. All right, go to the formula. I'll give it to you on the quiz next week. What's my negative B value? +5, plus or minus, square root of. Look, I still rely on my calculator and store in the numbers when I do these. I don't even trust myself finding what B squared minus 4AC is. I have no, what did it come out? 33?
Yeah.
Okay, so 33 over, what's the number on the bottom? 2A. 2. 2 times 1, yep. All right, now we take a peek. Can I break down 33? Anybody break down 33? I don't think there's a perfect square that goes into it. So if I can't break down the radical, calling it a day. Others you want to work on here? I'm actually going to pick, if no one's going to ask and continue, I'm going to pick one.
Okay.
I got to look at my answer key to make sure I'm going to pick the right one. Number 6, what number came underneath the radical?
28.
Okay, I'm doing 6. Okay, let's take a look at 6. Because 6, you could actually break down the radical. So we haven't talked about that. I want to make sure we're solid before I start giving you and your group problems to do. All right, ready? Number 6, I get x squared plus 2x equals 6. We're all good. Move the 6 over, get it equal to 0. X squared plus 2x minus 6 equals 0. Try it out. Try it out, right? Try it out. Any numbers, let's see, numbers that multiply to 6. 2 and 3. Am I going to get a 2 from those? The only other combo I know is 1 and 6. Can I get a 2 from those? All right, so guess what? Can't factor. Got to use quadratic formula. I'm going to keep asking, what's your A value? 1, B, 2, and C, -6. So x equals -2 plus or minus, you said what, 28? Square root of 28 all over 2. All right, now let's slow it down. You can break down 28, so I need you to keep going because this is not simplified yet. What does 28 break down into? Biggest perfect square would be 4 times 7. So this breaks into 2 square root of 7. So here we go. -2 plus or minus. Replace it. 2 radical 7 over 2. Are we all good there? Here's where I got to slow down, and I didn't do this well enough yesterday because I was trying to beat the bell. You can keep going. You can keep going. What's the denominator here? 2. Can you do -2 divided by 2? which ends up being, okay, here's what I gotta make sure we are clear on. The 2 doesn't disappear in the denominator. You have to divide both sides of the plus or minus by 2. All right, both sides. So it looks like this, and I don't need to see you write it like this, but look, here's what it looks like. -2 over 2 plus or minus 2 radical 7 over 2. That's what that is. Do we see that? So I need to divide both sides by 2. So that's how on the answer key, -2 divided by 2, -1 plus or minus 2's cancel, and you're left with, that's why that was on the answer key. All right? If you can divide each of them by 2, please do so. All right? Just not one side. I got to divide both sides of the plus or minus by the denominator. We okay on how that happened? Because that's going to come up again here shortly. Zach?
Wait, but it could be plus or minus, so couldn't it be a -2? Wouldn't that make it positive?
Oh, it's no. It's just plus or minus this right here, which reduces down to radical 7. Okay? I actually have that there, right? That's -1.
Yeah.
And then I have also positive 1. So I'm still fulfilling what you're asking. Okay? Questions? Anything else on the homework? Because now there's no homework tonight, but now we're going to get some practice in with your groups. I'm going to give you a problem. I'm going to tell you how I want it done, factoring or quadratic formula. Do not call me over until every single person in your group agrees on the correct answer. So some of you that work faster than the others, help each other out, or just be patient. All right, so wherever you want to write this, here we go. Calculator ready? We're solving for x. Here we go, first problem. I cross multiplied. Here's what I ended up with after I cross multiplied. X squared minus 15 on one side, and on the other I ended up with 2x. So I just cross multiplied, that's what I was left with. It's up to you and your group right now to solve for x. All right, take as long as you need here. Call me over when you guys think you have the answer. Okay? -2x. X squared minus 15 equals -2x. And I'd like you to do this by factoring, please. Nobody use quadratic formula in anybody in any group. Do it using factoring. Call me over when everybody is in agreement. So you just cross multiplied, that's what you ended up getting. Quick one. X equals -5, x equals +3. Good work, good work. All right, they're going to get a little tougher now. Here we go, number 2. X squared minus 8x equals -10. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. You'll figure it out pretty quick how to do this one. But if you do use quadratic formula, simplest radical form all the way. All right, I want it in simplest form all the way if you end up using quadratic formula. All right, go ahead. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. You'll figure out there is only one way. The answer down for the people who are watching the video. We ended up with 4, x equals 4 plus or minus radical 6. All right, next one. 2x squared minus 8x equals 12. And let's just say, everyone see automatically the 2 in front of the x squared? You can't do multiply and add unless there's a 1. So the only way we're doing this is quadratic formula. All right, I can only play that game when there's a 1 out in front of the x squared. Go ahead, see what you got.
Oh, what the heck did I do?
You're gonna get radical now. Yeah, I got
60.
And then you have to
60.
divide that all by.
To this thing. 160.
Because you have to do two times.
60.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for this value. You have to multiply by the e value. I thought it was a b value.
225.
And then you have the 4.
Yeah, 60.
Two plus minus 6.
Hold up, you have to simplify that again.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's two. And then. No, forget you're doing it.
Wait, what if I would be negative?
Oh, 15.
Oh, agreement or?
Yeah.
Two plus or minus.
Is it down?
Oh, my God.
How was that? Right, so then we'll just go here,
Oh, you weren't gonna write it down. Yeah, so it's 2 plus or minus 4 thirds.
Fix it, fix it, fix it. Okay, last one. I'll put this as a proportion now. All right, this is going to go as a proportion. So starting right from the beginning. Let me just, this one here, x equals 2 plus or minus radical 10. All right, last one. Going right from the proportion now. X over 1 equals negative 19 over x minus 9. All right. Ready? Little resident DJ in period 4. Let's do this.
Two minus 9 plus 19. I think that's quadratic.
No.
You can do quadratic, right? There's nothing, only 1 and 19.
I hate all this
think someone's gonna get breakdown in a once we get this thing.
Yeah. You get 5 under the
I'm good, get hurt. See.
Missing something in between.
And then, I don't know why I got negative 9 squared. Like negative 1. I have negative 9.
Yeah.
So I do that. Look.
Yeah, so that's that.
And then like you do minus 4.
Let me swear a negative in calculator.
It is.
Yeah, for me,
Why is it?
Why is it easy to answer?
because it gets.
Yeah, I got 5.
Number, store, letters, number, store. What'd you get?
It's like,
And alpha.
You get 9 plus minus 1.
I don't know how. Why do we even?
Good work.
How do we like, we really use like half the stuff in this calculator? Let's say you find. 8. So you still divide that by 2. Can you like put 8 on your calculator?
Alrighty, hopefully we feel a little bit more comfortable now, so when we have these problems next, we'll be fine.
That's my right.